Yeah.
Who would have thought? Who would have thought it's like seeing an entirely bald crowd? I'll be for that, and let's face it, it could be an entirely bald radio show before the end of the year with Andy and I. John, where are you, John?
Broughty Ferry.
Okay, I'll buy that. Go on.
I'm a Dundee United supporter.
Top man.
And a number of years ago, when they did pre-match entertainment,
Yeah.
one of the competitions was a pie-eating competition held on the pitch.
Oh,
Obviously, up here in Scotland, it was meat pie or mince pie.
Oh, man, don't. It's
Right.
lunchtime. Yeah, go on.
This was sponsored by the local supporters clubs,
Yep.
and 4 heavyweight gentlemen
That's
stood
fine.
in front of a table heaped with pies. And they were given possibly 3 minutes to see who would eat the most.
Most pies. Yeah. This is pre-match entertainment. I'm moving the Dundee. Yeah.
They started to slow down, and there was obviously non-alcoholic drink provided to wash the pies down. One chap thought he would be smart, put 2 fingers down his throat.
Oh,
Obviously,
this is just the best pre-match entertainment. I don't know.
emptied his stomach
Yeah.
onto the pitch.
Yeah, yeah.
For they were on the playing surface.
Dundee United?
Yes, opposite the main stand.
Yeah, yeah.
So, duly the time the whistle blew, and one chap was declared the winner and
Yeah.
got a trophy, and there was a certain amount of cleaning up carried out.
This is the coolest story I've ever heard.
And
I mean, I'm talking to anyone who's a lapsed football supporter out there. I'm fed up with unmarried marriage counsellors who take us in the cabs. I used to go till all this violence, because they're nuts, so they just don't go because they couldn't say, there's no more or less violence than there's ever been. So I used to go till all that. All I'm saying is if you're looking for an excuse to come back to football ground, Dundee United Pie Eaters Contest,
And in
if that
fact,
doesn't do it, nothing will.
Can I just say to any youngsters listening, that in fact is the source of the song You Ate All the Pies.
You ate all
Yeah?
the pies, which is
Comes
a
from
very,
that.
yeah, of course.
Yeah,
And of
comes
course
from
the
that.
phrase,
Oh, yeah.
as sick as a Dundee United pie eater.
Yeah.
So what, is there an upshot to this story? Because it's
Yes.
beautiful already. Yeah,
Oh,
go on.
yes, yes,
Yeah, okay.
yes. So obviously the game started, and
Oh,
about
yeah.
10 minutes into the game, the winger got the ball,
No,
and
hey,
the
just
defender
one second,
went
hang on.
in for a sliding tackle.
This is gonna be
and
cool.
he slid and slid and slid for about 15 yards down the pitch.
Cup final. Of course, the
second
Matthews final,
one, yeah.
the disputed third guy in the 66 World
Yeah,
Cup.
yeah.
Arsenal getting the championship at the last kick of the game. Hearts having their heart broken when they didn't need Celtic to win 2-0 a few years back. But I've never heard
Dundee
before
United pie.
of the Dundee United pre-match pie-eating vomit contest, etc., etc. Thank you very much for bringing that to us, John. I believe that is the ultimate. I mean, but why don't other clubs do this? Why do they have these brownies, as we've heard? Why do they have mascots? Why do they have, people parachuting into ground?
Well,
When
so it's
all
still- yeah,
football
yeah.
supporters want is people eating lots of things, oyster contest, pie contest, etc., etc. Take note, especially Birmingham City, then I'd have some respect for you. Jane.
Hello, Mick. Where are you, Mick?
I'm in Leeds, Danny.
Oh, Mick's dropped his voice a few notches there now. Okay, Mick.
No danger of Mick being mistaken.
What do you want to tell us, Mick?
It's mad old people on the way to ground.
Now, I really want this, more than anything, talk listeners, I want this one to take off. I don't know why it occurred to me. I thought, I bet there's lots of mad old people near grounds. Well, who have you got?
Well, this guy, this house now is actually an office, but at the time it was a bloke's residential house. And it's
Yeah.
right opposite the South Stand at Ellen Road. And this old guy used to complain and shout at people and throwing papers in his garden and stuff.
Yeah.
And
Who was throwing papers in his garden?
everybody,
Oh, let's throw papers,
me
so-
included, used to wind him up.
Yeah.
It's-
It's unforgivable and all that, but it happened.
Yeah, it was
okay,
a bit of a sour old prune. Anyway, one day
yeah.
it had enough, and he was actually sat in his garden in a deck chair with a shotgun.
Gun, good, yes, you got a gun.
You had a gun?
He had a gun.
That's democracy, I'm all for that.
The only thing I missed here was, what ground is it near?
Ellen Road, Leeds.
It's near Ellen Road.
Yeah, it's the only house opposite the stadium.
So you all came charging around the corner thinking, we'll pull the tail of the old mad fella around it.
Yeah, he sat there hillbilly style.
Deck chair
in his
and
deck
a
chair,
shotgun.
in his
Yeah.
hand.
Oh, good for the old boy.
He's the hero of the hour.
And what did he say?
Well,
Did he say, where's your papers now, boy? As you went by, I don't click. What happened?
I'm going to get you, Brenda.
Yeah.
Well, eventually...
What street was it? Do you know the name of the street?
It's Elland Road itself.
In Elland Road
it's
itself?
actually Elland Road,
The
yeah.
madman, always a pen, the madman of Elland Road.
No, people will mistake that for George Graham. You can't do that.
The madman of Elland Road. Cool. Go on, anything else?
Yeah, well, anyway, a couple of policemen turned up, tried to persuade him to go inside, and he was sat there saying, I'm on my own property, you can't get me, I can do what I want, I can sit here as long as I want. Anyway, they ended up carting him off in the back of a transit van, as I remember.
Burglars walk free. I don't understand this.
Now, I mean, because the thing is, any of us who live near football grounds, and I certainly do, touch wood, whenever these people say it's murder live near football grounds, they come and urinate in your garden and all that. I think, well,
no more than the locals.
No, exactly, yeah, you're just blaming it on us, it's your husband. Anyway, but they certainly do that. And I often think, well, if you say out the front, fair dues. As I say about referees, if referees turn around and start attacking players, as I think inevitably is going to happen, and we're only days away from that.
And Uriah Rennie is favourite.
Uriah Rennie, yeah, good
he's
for
a big, strong-looking fella, and he might give them those slaps.
It's like a famous phone-in, did a player ever turn round to you and, you shouted something and he heard you. I shouted something at the player and he heard me. I'm all for the players, but the Cantona thing, I think, was long overdue and fair enough. I really, at the time, I know everything sounds controversial now, but anyway, I thought it was fair enough. And equally, our friend here, the madman of Elland Road, sitting with his Smith & Wesson, just sitting there, well, come on, fellas, let's go. After that, was there any to and fro after that, or did it all stop?
We thought twice about turning him after that.
QED. It works.
It did the business.
It works. A short, sharp shot.
You walk past that house, you see a twitch of the curtains, you don't throw the papers in the front garden.
No. So there it is, our very first mad person who lives near a football ground.
Don't forget as well.
What do you want to tell us?
Well, I met a mate, I don't live in Chesterfield anymore, I live in Glasgow, but I met some mates at the game.
Yeah.
And I hope this story's true, but we'll have to try and get it corroborated about why our reserve goalkeeper was injured during the summer.
Okay.
It was in his old man's back garden. His old man's got a house in the Derbyshire Peak District.
Yeah.
And he was helping out gardening with his old man. And apparently at the bottom of his old man's garden, there's like a little substation, electricity substation.
Oh, it's got all the ingredients already. A substation.
So the old man's gone into the house to, get the McVitie's or whatever. And Andy Leanin has gone across to the substation, put both hands on the bars, and stood shaking his foot. His old man's come out, clocked his son hanging onto the bars, and he thinks he's being electrocuted. So he runs down the garden and apparently smacks him with a shovel to smack him off the bars. Apparently he broke his shoulder, and the best bit of all is that apparently he was just trying to get gravel out of his wellies.
Whatever reason he was actually shaking his foot becomes irrelevant. The idea of the old man going, my son!
but I've watched any number of public information films, and never once when the electricity thing comes up, and it comes up all the time, do they say, get a shovel, a spade, a hoe, or a rake, and belt someone with it. Belt someone with it.
So, the old man, seeing what he figures is Les Harvey of Stone the Crow's happening all over again.
Oh, hang on. My obscure Honour has gone off now.
He runs at him with a shovel and belts him with it. Oh, that is fair. Where did you hear this from?
Well, as I say, I live in Glasgow now, so I don't get...
What does that got to do with it? Who told you?
Well, the mates I met down at the game, because when I used to live in Chesterfield, I used to hear the stories from the club, but I don't get to hear them anymore. But I was told it from a pretty reliable source, so...
Well, that's a wonderful story. It doesn't matter. It's got, like most of our best calls, it has absolutely nothing to do with football. Tangentially, yes, it is a great story from life. With Grimsby, I saw perhaps the most heartless hounding of an individual. Mick Lyons turned out for you, didn't he?
Well...
Yeah, Mick Lyons, he was playing at centre-half, and he was one of those unfortunate individuals who was, playing out the last few years of his career, but he'd gone grey, which is not, but it's flecks of it, he'd gone grey. And I saw a bloke down at our ground, it was a meaningless game, it was about 3 from the end of the season, and he stood right at the fencing, and while the game was up the other end, Mick Lyons playing sweeper was standing watching the game going on up in the Millwall area on his own, and it was absolutely dead atmosphere, and this bloke stood there from the beginning of the game to the end. He had no interest in the game, as nobody did, but he had it in for Mick Lyons. And all he did was stand there, and he must have been 20 yards from Mick Lyons. He was trying to see, he's the last man of the defence, standing with his hands on his hips, goalkeeper behind him, but he kept going, Lyons, you can hear me, Lyons. You old man. You should be ashamed of turning out with these boys. What do you think you're doing, Look at me, Lyons. And Mick Lyons was trying to... Okay, mate. And he turned round... Unfortunately, he turned round at
the Millwall team, wasn't he?
Exactly, but exactly.
He was on that,
he turned round at one point to the fella and he said, you know, what he must say, give us a break, pal.
Yeah.
Don't you ask me for any favours, Lions. You can hear me. Lions, this is your last days. These young boys, Lions, that you keep away from them, Lions. And poor old Mick Lyons wanted to say, now, come on, mate, this bloke would not stop. How dare you turn out with them, you old man, he keeps shouting. I've never heard a man barracked as bad as that. And then we get a leave off, mate. It was very funny. And, of course, second half, Mick Lyons didn't come out. Oh, leave it, I'm not taking that.
Chicken.
And he had to stand there with his hands on his hip. No, it wasn't chicken, that was fair enough. Lions, should be ashamed of yourself. You're 3 times their age, Mick. But he was no good for you, was he, Mick Lyons?
The bloke should have come to Grimsby. He might have buggered off, really.
Oh, I've always felt sorry for Mick Lyons. Perhaps he was a Grimsby supporter, that's what I've just realised. But every time I think of Grimsby, I think of poor old Mick Lyons, who had done nothing. And he was saying, you shouldn't turn out with these young boys, you're too old for it.
You're 3 times their age, Lyons.
You keep away from your old ways. These are young boys full of life.
What the hell's he on about?
I have no idea. Poor old Mick Lyons. Tell us if you've seen you said earlier on the show, an individual barracked worse than that. So from beginning to end of a game, vendettas against individual players are always very funny.
Hanging on his ghostly hand.
At half-time, anyway, the announcement. Could have missed
He's not laughing at us, Dan.
No, I wouldn't. A Man City fan. I mean, Jamie, here's a Man City fan.
He don't laugh anymore.
Sorry, Mike, go on.
Yeah, at half-time. Would have Mr. John Prick go to the nearest steward?
No, hang on. Because what we've got to nail down here is, because this is one of the words that can also make people jump out of their seats. Do we think this was a real call, or do we think this was
Gladys Prothero.
There was what?
Gladys Prothero type call.
Oh,
yeah.
you think it was a Gladys Prothero call? You don't think there is a Mr. John Prick?
Well, I don't know. You never know.
Are there any pricks in Manchester?
Yeah, Old Trafford, yeah.
Oh, now. I'm trying to play this one with a straight bat. I've faded him down because he's obviously can see only one connotation to it. I mean, on the other side of the coin, if we're living in an open, all-outdoors, non-sexist age, I believe Tottenham had a player called Pratt, didn't they?
They did for a very long
For
time.
every Pratt. I'm thinking there must be.
Who was cleaning the windows in my office less than a month ago.
He's a window cleaner.
He runs a window cleaning firm.
Now, see, he grew up, and it's a noble name. I'm sure there's a lot of people that say, I hope we're not going to get into the Pratt team, because, you know, we've just got over it now.
No.
And slang is transient. And if I were a member of the Manchester Pricks, I would not change my name because modern slang has suddenly said, well, that's low for penis. I'm sorry, I can fully believe that sitting in Main Road, it's unfortunate attention was dragged to it, and I don't want to dwell on the Manchester Prick at all. But if he's there, then I understand it's a noble name and may go back many, many hundreds of years. And what I'm saying is, hats off. Don't cover your prick up with a hat. It's 5:45. Okay. I held that together rather well until then.
Nobody would have said to John Pratt. They would have gone to you're a Pratt. Okay, they wouldn't have said
see him
that.
over there.
Yeah, he's a...
This could happen. Now, before you all get offended, oh, look, I'm sorry, but childish giggling. Yes, it is.
Yeah.
I can't think of another angle. Yeah, go on. It's David. Hello, David. David. Oh, his name is...
No, that's Mr. Pratt. He's gone.
I think that might have actually been Mr. Prick. I'm sorry, but...
I have been a prick for 35 years and I've never been so outraged.
I'm afraid his name is obviously Pussy. Sorry, go on. Oh, yeah, I've got to press it on me. That was the other goal. You keep reminding me. I do apologise, David, for saying you'd given up. You hadn't. I hadn't pressed the right thing. Hello, David.
Hello, the two Dannies,
Hello. What can you say about an album that many are already calling the album of the year? Radiohead's... I'm so stoned, I take my rock and roll so seriously. I'm only a Spice Girls. What can you say about... Now, throw rocks at the radio next time that comes on. You're there on Monday, Jamie. Don't play that advert.
So I work in Wolverhampton, right?
Yeah.
And I work in a petrol station in Wolverhampton.
Yeah.
Gordon came in with Dean Richards.
Right.
And he wanted to know how to work the microwave. And he couldn't shut the door properly.
What?
So I had to tell him how to cook a Cornish pasty.
Right, so you went up there and you said, now, how do you do this? Because everyone is on the edge of their seat. What is the correct procedure?
Well, first of all, our microwave oven is terrible, actually. So you've got to actually bang the door shut.
Yeah.
Press...
Why is that? What's the matter with it?
Because it don't shut properly, you see.
It doesn't allow kind of rays to escape, does it? Because I'm thinking his current loss of form could be down.
Well, explain Dean Richards' disappearance of £2.5 million.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, he came in. He comes in all the time.
But he knows how to do it.
But he's a draw.
I don't know how this happens, but whatever happens, there's a 7-second delay because he said it was quite cool.
Oh, yeah.
If you've just missed that bit of the show,
Yeah.
You stay there for a second. What happens is he just told us something about a footballer, and wow, you know, man, we didn't know that.
Well,
but we can't bring it to you.
the £2.5 million disappearance.
Apparently so. Anyway, so the microwave eventually you showed him how to work, yeah?
Yes,
And?
you've got to press time, you've got to press how long it's going to go in for, and he couldn't figure it out. So I had to come over the counter.
Yeah.
And,
You see, I hate to say this, but you're making yourself rather a hero here, and in fact you are just telling a professional footballer how to work a Cornish pasty heating machine. You know, you're building your part up a bit, and you're rather miffed he never gave you any
no,
money.
I mean, he said thanks after it, but that's about it.
Yeah. Okay. Now, so what's the other point you had to make?
Well, I've played against a goalkeeper with one arm.
You've been teasing us, my friend, haven't you?
I like the Cornish pasty Gordon Cowan story. I like that.
And particularly with Dean Richards worked in there as well. Very good.
This wasn't when you
And
played.
Jamie Smith was with him at the same time as well.
Now, Jamie Smith, I'm just writing that down. Well done, thank you.
So the goalkeeper had one arm.
Yes, the goalkeeper had one arm.
All right, go on.
I was playing for my football team.
Yeah.
This is at school.
Yeah.
And I was playing against, St Chad's School.
Yeah.
St Chad's School.
Uh-huh.
And the goalkeeper had one arm.
Yeah, you see, I'm all for, I mean, you know, obviously, by all means, the disabled Olympics and then any kind of involvement, you know,
We had a fella playing last week with broken leg and calipers.
And calipers. We had the fellow who was coming out in remission with cancer who got, of course, all of
Like
it.
with no toes?
But, I'm sorry, there are certain gigs whereby you've got to say, fella, you've got to appreciate.
You have to repeat what the old Peter Cook and Dudley Moore.
Yeah.
The part of Tarzan, Lord of the Jungle, is not one normally associated with the Unidexter.
Exactly, a one-legged artiste. And now, if you've got one arm, I think that's carrying liberalism too far to suddenly say, I'll tell you what, we'll stick you in goal. Nobody out there, nobody listening to this would say that one-armed people have every right to play in goal. They don't. Now, I know Pasquale's going to ring up now again. Pasquale's going to ring up.
One-armed people should be seeded for the World Cup.
Seeded for the World Cup because he once had two arms, therefore he qualifies for the World Cup, whatever the logic is. But you can't put one-armed people in goal. I mean, I have no idea. I mean, you know, forgive me, but I thought you put your arm out to stop it. Isn't the other one a counterbalance? If the ball hits the one arm you've got, doesn't it spin you round and round because there's no arm on the other side to slow you up?
Also, when it comes to taking the penalty, the fellow taking the penalty must have a pretty good idea which side he's going to put the ball to. I'd have guessed, yeah? The commentator go, I wonder which side he's going to put the ball to. Because the best he can hope to do is save it with his nose if he dives.
You have one arm and be in goal. You can't. I mean, I think he was potty. I think he was potty, the caller, because A, he came on with a Gordon Cowans and told us 20 times you had to tell Gordon Cowans how to use it. All right, that was all right. Then he libelled a footballer, as far as I can tell. And then he tells he once played against a one-armed goalkeeper. Nonsense, sir. Nonsense. There was no way that fella had one arm, unless he had some kind of tennis racket affixed to this side. But as you say, it's...
unless you had one huge arm, he could flop it over the other side.
A great big arm, that was it. All right, so if we want any calls you like tonight, obviously it's going to be a free-for-all. We tried to give you guidelines, but you're just ringing up, which is fine.
And just to go straight on from that, and just this is a fellow who's I've lost his name now, has dug up a list in episode. Never mind Germany and the current German league. This is a list of European players from my 1987-88 European Football Handbook.
And then, are they filthy? Oh,
no, they're not.
They're brilliant.
Right,
okay,
I told you about Mary Creamer already. Okay.
No, you didn't. You told him off the air. You told me.
Oh, did I?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, Racing Club of Paris in France had a goalkeeper called Mary Creamer. And I'm just going to go through the best of these. Lambic Wawa. Adik Koot. Rolof Jan Tic Tac. Of AZ Alkmaar.
What is this in?
The 1987-88 European Football Book. Of course, Pablo Plack. And of course, Jerry Slagboom. And of course, Johan Tucker. And of course, Marcel Pieper. And of course, Henrit Plomp. And of course, Gregorio Vega Yo-Yo. And of course, Florin Pop. And then he reminds us that the Swiss club Young Boys of Bern play in the Wankdorf Stadium. The Young Boys play in the Wankdorf. They do.
It's too good.
They're not even sexual, they're just funny.
You didn't even say Terry Pista.
No, I didn't. What about Yo-Yo down the bottom there?
Oh, no, hang on. Gregorio Vega Yo-Yo. Oh, wonderful. Garrett Plump.
More, I tell you. And I must apologise to Steve Gregory, who's got an equally good list. We won't get on until next week.
Jerry Slagboom. Suicide, and there's every chance that when the draw is made, they will be visiting the Minge brothers.
Yeah.
The brothers Minge.
Okay, now, thank you. We move very swiftly from the Pacific Rim to the Low Countries.
Terry Liberapoulopoulos brought us that, by the way.
And this is the anonymous person who sent us his list of great players playing currently in Belgium, Holland and Luxembourg. I shall do them in no order. We shall start first with some of the Belgian players. Patrick Guts, Erwin Lemmens, Nico van der Donk, Bart de Roever, Brian Flies and Luciano Crapper.
Brian Flies?
Brian
I bet he's
Flies.
always hanging around Crapper, isn't he, Flies?
Okay, in Luxembourg, I bring on down this top five-a-side team and substitute: Nico Funk, Ralph Bunk, Patrick Posing, Christian Sinner, Frankie Shank.
Christian Sinner?
Christian
That's
Sinner.
too good, isn't it?
Christian Sinner, Frankie Shank, and Norbert Hoer.
Frankie Shank?
And Norbert Hoer.
Frankie Shank? Norbert Hoer.
And meanwhile, over in the Holland, some say Netherlands, we present the following squad of players: Fred Grimm, Richard Plug, Ronald Hoop, Etienne Barment-Lou, Rude Cool, Tom Pronk, Oswald Snip, Mark Wiggers, Rick Plum, Jeffrey Van Ass, Rude Brood, Gregory Playfair, Michael Knock, Walter Smack, Egbert Barwinkle, and Ab Plugboer.
Tom Pronk. Oh, no. Here it is. There was Rick Plum, Mark Wiggers. Where's Tom Pronk? There he is. Mr. Tom Pronk. Tom Pronk. Rick Plum.
Oh, that's from the great Daniel Emerson.
Oh, right.
Thank you very much.
Wow, let me just go to George Smeets. We forgot him, by the way, George Smeets. Norbert Hoer. Where's my other? Oh, Frankie Shank. Frankie Shank.
He's a Luxembourger.
And in the Luxembourg national side, it's very possible that Nico Funk could pass to Ralph Bunk.
With Frankie Shank moving up on the outside.
Frankie Shank coming down Bunk. So, I mean, if you just say the surnames in one side, this could happen if there was a Lowlands team. Goods finds Van der Donk, looks for Funk, finds Bunk, Shank, past Wasco, Plug, Pronk, Pronk holds on to it, finds Wiggers, then Snip, plies for Playfair, Knock, Smack, Playfair, Snip, Pronk. This is the best. Plugboer as well, as you say, Hoogland. Lemons and Goots, Flies and Crapper.
I'm saying that's not half of them.
No.
Get off of those funny foreign names. Come on.
It's not just funny. These have got to be great to say, because my favourite there is Frankie Shank and Norbert Pronk. All right, it's 12 minutes after 7. We'll bang a bunch more. We've got to do... No.
Get off of those funny foreign names. Come on.
It's not just funny. These have got to be great to say, because my favourite there is Frankie Shank and Norbert Pronk. All right, it's 12 minutes after 7. We'll bang a bunch more. We've got to do a break or take someone. Let's take someone. Who's there? Here's line 1, and he'll be Richard. Thank you, Richard, for hanging on. Richard?
Yeah, hi.
Hello, Richard.
You know, you was on about a couple of weeks ago about games that have ended at half-time.
Games of one half.
Yeah.
Right, what have you got?
Well, about a game of 20 minutes.
Oh, very good. Go on. A
Well,
20-minute
when I was
game.
in Downview, Category C prison, we had to go and play High Point, which is a Category B prison.
All right.
So we
Is that a better division altogether, yeah?
Oh, incredible division.
Yeah.
Anyway, we was all handcuffed, put in a van, and driven 500 yards to this other prison.
Yeah.
So we've all got changed, gone out onto the pitch, then the real hard lads have come out, the Category B lads.
All right. Richard, what happened next?
Right, anyway, we've had kick-off.
Yeah.
We've been playing for about 2 minutes.
Yeah.
When their centre-half decided to, upend our forward.
Okay.
So he's upended him, put him down, and called him some name or whatever.
Yeah.
The forward's got up and said, "You're trying to make a name for yourself, aren't you, mate?"
Yeah.
And this geezer's gone yeah, so what? What are you going to do?
Oh,
and our
God.
forward said, "I'm going to bite your face off."
Bite your face off?
Bite your face off.
Even Tyson himself could only manage an ear. A face off?
He was wearing a gum shield, didn't
Yeah,
he?
he was in for fraud anyway.
No, he's not a fraud. Okay, yeah.
But now the referee happened to be a gym screw.
All right.
And instead of trying to break this fight up that started, he's reached for his radio and pushed this little red button, which is a call for assistance.
Yeah.
And so you've had about 16 screws run out onto the pitch and break this fight up between.
Did they break it up? Did they have toshes and stuff, or was it just all
Tear
physical?
gas?
No, it was no, none of that. We're not in Spain, you know what I mean?
No,
It's
but
like, you know.
I like just like the romance of the image.
Yeah.
But anyway, yes, they ran on and broke it up.
Broke it up like and all this lot, and one of the lads got dragged off down to the, you know, the segregation unit, the block.
The hole.
Punishment unit,
Yeah, was it?
facing the firing squad at dawn and all that.
Okay.
Anyway, but he's like, so they've had to bring on a sub.
Yeah.
Like substitutes come on now. And about 5 minutes later, one of our guys has like knocked out their goalkeeper, punched him.
Oh yeah.
He's gone down, and like once
Who'd have
again-
thought when A category play B category, it would be filled with such rancour?
No, this is E versus C.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
These are people who have forgotten to bring back the library books.
Oh, is that all it is? Who'd have thought they're biting faces off then? Yeah, go on.
Well, I told you they were bad, but not that bad.
Can I ask you, an inevitable question? What were you in for?
I got into a fight when I was 16.
All right, so okay, I thought it might be.
And it lasted till you were 21,
Yeah, exactly. So go on,
Hey,
carry
listen,
on.
I've got HMP, mate, you know what I mean?
Have you?
Yeah.
Yeah, seriously.
HMP?
Got out January last year.
Eh?
Her Majesty's Prison.
HMP.
Her
Okay.
Majesty's Pleasure.
Oh,
Her
no,
Majesty's
sorry.
pleasure, I'm sorry, carry on.
Yeah.
Anyway, we've digressed from this game, which is fast disintegrating like Man United Chelsea today. Yeah, go on. Yeah.
Anyway, so, you know, after this is sorted out, they've sorted out the goalkeeper and the business like this. The two captains are called together
Yeah.
and told that, like, if it carries on,
Yeah.
then
they'll
they'll be called off. That's
Then
it.
I'll give you such a pinch. What do you say to the two fellas? Yeah, go on.
So the referee's done that. He's turned around to call for a drop ball, and our forwards punched their guy in the face.
Ah, wow.
And
Okay,
he's gone off then, and all the screws have come out, and that was it. Game over.
Oh, 20-minute game.
20-minute game.
A 20-minute game. Well, when you came through, I figured, well, is it just going to be one where, you know, prisoners are in a bad mood and figure, what are you going to do? What? What's going to be worse?
Gonna get a Chinese bird at
How
half
could this
time, am I?
possibly be worse? I mean, for 20 years. I mean, it must take away the referee's only plank, doesn't it?
Yeah.
If you for 20 years, what are you going to do? Anyway, so, but when was this
Actually,
game?
these fellas who are ruining the Premiership this season, Graham Powell and people like that,
Yeah.
a couple of weeks spent refereeing prison matches might bring them to their senses.
Exactly.
Bring them to their senses.
When you said earlier on as well, I don't want to get bogged down in this, because I appreciate people are hanging on, and it's 0500 1053 89.
Well, you don't lie to people. You do want to get bogged down in this.
I want to get bogged
Quagmires.
You said he was a gym screw. What's the difference between a screw and a gym screw?
Well, gym screws can, like, do a bit of football training.
Yeah, but I
They
mean...
know what football is. It's a round thing that you kick around.
Oh, I know, yeah.
Normal screws, like, the most energetic thing they'll do is pick up a pint. That's
All right,
it.
and here's the last thing. On a scale of 1 to 10, how realistic is porridge?
Doesn't even begin at 0.0.
Oh, okay. You're breaking our hearts here now. Anyway, thank you very much indeed, Richard. There's a game that only lasted 20 minutes in our category. Football can be a game of one half. If anyone wants £20, I've only got to ring up and tell us they've had a terrible day. Even if your team won, especially if your team won, you've had a terrible day. And by the way...
And of course, if you played in a game that's, and you think that 20 minutes sound like war and peace, well, then we want to hear from you again.
Exactly.
Though, to be fair,
we are smelly old Blackpool today, by the way. But yes, of course, the joke. I do apologise for the joke.
As you know, a few weeks ago, a man called Trevor Steels rang in, he faxed us from CH Furniture in Guildford, Surrey, with quite the most appalling joke.
It's the kind of things that, before the industry of football magazines started up, this kind of stuff, programs still do this kind of lame joke. On the kids' page, they put a little star shape, and in it put these jokes that even kids don't like, because programs are the worst things in the world.
Trevor thought he would get away with telling us one bad joke, but he is now our official joke writer for the show.
Yeah. This morning's one, just knock it off without the music.
You mentioned last week Blackburn's nickname, but do you know why they are sponsored by the Co-op? Because they have their share of divvies.
That was his joke this morning. Now, believe me, we're not trying to even get ironic or even postmodern laughter at it.
And these
are terrible. These are they're great. They're great in the whatever.
Yeah.
So now we have
okay, now we've got two more to get through tonight. So here we go.
Here's the first one. Go.
Here's the joke by Trevor Steels. Did someone mention Fish? Mark Fish of Bolton is obviously not scoring goals because he's afraid of the net.
Okay, that's the second joke. Okay, now, and we're going on. I think we should plough on through. Go back to the top of the tape, or that, or whatever.
Don't need to now. We've got a big loop of it.
Have we? Did we? Oh, it just carries on. Oh, very good. Okay, yeah.
David Ginola is currently doing a hair product commercial. Why? Because he is head and shoulders above everyone else at Spurs.
I think I just heard an edit. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, those jokes in full. You mentioned last week Blackburn's nickname, but do you know why they are sponsored by the Co-op? Because they have their fair share of divvies. Someone mentioned Fish. Mark Fisher Bolton is obviously not scoring because he's afraid of the net. And joke 3, David Ginola is currently doing a hair product commercial. Why? Because he's head and shoulders above everyone else at Spurs. Those are these three jokes from our friend at CH Furniture, Mr. Trevor Steels. Background music supplied by Black Sabbath. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you very much indeed. And there'll be more from Trevor at around the same time next week. Accordion music providing. But Trevor, please keep them coming. Even though you've got your own bed now. Who else is there?
And he has to lie on it, yeah.
Yes, he does. Ian, where are you, Ian? Good evening, Ian. Thanks for hanging on. What might have been a million years. Ian, what do you want to tell us?
Well, it's, I'm a Man City fan. We've got tonight.
Hang on, Ian. Before you carry on, Ian, you said it. Let's go. I've got it on here. We've got the music on here. Here we go. There we go, ladies and gentlemen. Oh, no! Oh, I do apologize. Yours, then? What have you got there?
Yeah, this is the return of Trevor Steels, our resident comedian. Right, okay. We missed this fax last week. It didn't come through because of the machine for some reason.
But you said he's a good.
No, I've changed my mind.
Alright, so we need the...
CH Furnishing Limited, he works for...
Can we have the correct Graham then, please? Yeah. Can we have the death?
I've got to go back to a few weeks ago when we had the phrase come on the show. Any more pies?
Right, okay.
Explain briefly to the listeners what any more pies
Any more pies was we're looking for the greediest footballer in Britain. It turns out that Jeff Astle and his wife, it turns out, were freeloading to such an extent and ignoring the company they were with, who had won a night out with them, and the only thing Jeff was really enthusiastic was the phrase, any more pies.
Well, this is Trevor's idea of what various other famous people may well have said. David Beckham to Posh Spice, any more thigh, the American nation to Bill Clinton, any more lies, Cyclops, any more eyes, Mrs. Sylvester Stallone, any more sly, Chicken Lickin', any more sky, Will Carling, any more tries, John Le Carre, any more spies, Dickie Bird, any more buys, J.R. Hartley, any more flies, all Welsh women, any more dies, Winnie the Pooh, any more... any more hives, and finally, Henry VIII, any more wives?
I don't know. I don't know whether that was brilliant or whether it was the worst thing I've ever heard.
I think it's pretty brilliant.
Yeah, but no... Knowing him as we do, you see, this is him working flat out. This is not blank postmodern irony.
No, this is way out the edges of his imagination.
It's taken him all night to do this. I must say, by the time we got to Dickie Bird, any more buys, the idea of Dickie Bird asking if there were any more buys, any more highs and everything. No, I think that is very, very good. Yeah. I don't know why. I mean, for the love of God.
Also, Chicken Lickin', any more sky.
That is one that if ever you did try to write a review or an appraisal and put in, and then Danny Kelly read a list out, including the phrases, I'm afraid it wouldn't get you one extra listener. And the phrase you had to be there, I hope, applied to that, because when it started, I thought, oh, this is really awful. And by after 6 or 7, I started thinking, this is one of the greatest things I've ever heard.
We might read it again this evening.
No, I can't. All right, bug someone through. Who's there?
Stand on. All right, now, I think... Is the music ready? You have to be the judge now.
Oh, yes. Here we go. Ladies and gentlemen, here we go.
Everyone knows Trevor Steels, our own comedian, sends us great jokes about football. Now a man called Martin from Red Hill has decided he can take him on. I'm going to read 4 jokes, Danny. The first 2 you'll pick which you prefer on the 2. I won't tell you who they're by. And then we'll pick the other 2. Here we go. Okay, the first joke. Where does a match between 2 teams of fetuses kick off?
I don't know.
In the placenta circle.
Okay, I think I recognise the hand of the master in that. I don't know, but hang on.
Kenny Dalglish has booked a break in the Tyrol to go rock collecting. Why? Because Newcastle need all the Alp they can get.
That's the master.
Which one have you chosen?
I'm choosing that part 2.
Okay, good. Now, let me shuffle up my paper some more. I'll come up with this joke. Did you hear that Tony Adams has been taken to hospital following a brawl? Doctors have issued a statement saying that Mr. Adams is in a stable.
Okay, next one.
What do you call a Southampton player with a salad on the side of his head? Matthew Letizia. Which one of those 2 jokes would you prefer? You've got Mr. Adams here.
the first one.
Incredibly, Trevor Steele's plays himself in the final. They're both Trevor Steele's jokes.
You know why? Because one can see the structure of a Trevor Steele original. Because Trevor Steele would say, of course. Oh, no, come on, seriously. I mean, if this was Antique Roadshow... Did you pay for the other two jokes, Danny? And you tell me...
200 quid.
200... very common at the time. When Trevor Steele, when he was working, a lot of people did, and even though they signed them Trevor Steele, you could recognise Trevor Steele, because he usually began in the first 5 words with the name of a footballer. Did you hear was a good thing, because the archaic use of did you hear to begin a joke was Trevor was the only person in the late 20th century still saying did you hear, and also starting with Kenny Dalglish went into the... You think, well, this is obviously Trevor.
And your reward for picking the two... I've saved the best Trevor Steele joke till last.
Okay.
Music maestro, please.
Recall 0500 1053 89 now.
Okay, we're back amongst the final of the... We'll be right back to the calls any second now. 0500 1053 89. But I could recognise... That's right, of course I recognise Trevor Steele's work.
Right.
And now we have...
First of all, Trevor Steele, this is Trevor Steele's joke do week. Okay. I should make a point that Trevor starts this letter with the words, sorry, not more pie.
Okay.
However, 2 other people have sent in more pie. Okay. So that's good. At a recent charity dinner, Jeff Astle, for it is he, got the shock of his life. He was about to devour his pudding when it leapt off the end of the table. It was a lemming meringue pie.
That is almost vintage, because it is so weak. It is so weak.
Yeah. There are people...
It doesn't even concern football, so it doesn't work in that way.
That is a joke in an oxygen tent, isn't it?
That is the weakest, and I've got to say, please stop sending in jokes to rival Trevor, because that's why Black Sabbath play behind him. Come to the Sabbath, Trevor's there. He is the cloven hoof.
I say, Martin from Red Hill, keep trying. We'll try again.
You're never going to get around that. And he hasn't sent any more pie.
No, but other people have found more pie.
Right, so you see, all he's done there is take a lemming meringue pun and attach Jeff Astle to it.
Yeah.
And only Trevor would dare to try, to lower the stakes. He's lowered them. Very, very, very poor.
My presenter came onto the pitch with an all-girl dancing troupe from the local disco. He went on to explain that they were going to try and beat the Agadoo World Dancing Record.
I was at the finals of that in Paris.
And he wanted everyone in the stadium to join in with the girls while they danced to Agadoo, and the crowd that day was about 4,500 people. So here's the scene now. You've got 4,500 Lincoln and Hull fans, either end of the stadium, and a dancing troupe of women, note, in the middle of the pitch, in their scanties, giving it some Agadoo. The music started. The dancing girls started to do their thing, and nobody in the crowd moved. Of course nobody in the crowd moved. And the presenter was trying to whip up a bit of enthusiasm. Did you hear that?
Yes, I got it.
A bit of enthusiasm.
Oh, I said it.
Yeah,
do it again. Yeah.
I'm going to read. The presenter was trying to whip up a bit of enthusiasm. But after a while, a few Hull City fans didn't start doing the Agadoo there and then, but they climbed onto the pitch and began to dance.
Right.
Not to be outdone, the Lincoln City fans at the other end also climbed onto the pitch and started to do the Agadoo dance. They gradually moved closer and closer together doing the Agadoo dance. You now have both sets of fans on the pitch, just a few dancers separating them. These are the actual girl dancers.
Yeah.
The result, inevitably, was a mass fight in the centre circle, with the Lincoln chairman coming over the public address system appealing for calm. The Lincoln City Agadoo World Dancing Record failed, but the crowd violence was really, really excellent. Says Trevor Holmes from Lowestoft. So it's women who are causing all the aggro.
They had the Agadoo problem and a riot broke out.
Trevor, that is magnificent, and thank you very much for that.
No, I mean, you could...
Everything has to be saved for the website now.
The Agadoo finals, and a riot breaks out.
Between Hull and Lincoln.
And of course they walk together and push by now a few more yards. I believe General, Lord Colonel Haig himself tried a few times during 1916 to push towards the Mons lines. Well, the Agadoo line. They think we're doing the Agadoo final, lads. When you see the whites of the Huns' eyes, let them have it. Bung someone through.
So it's women.
Do a break.
Women who cause the aggro.
All right. If you've got any stories about, this morning we touched on our dear old friend, the mascots again, and we can't help it, but it's going to be for the last day of the season. It may be someone's last day as one, or what do they do with the game? I've brought the music in for the mascots, so...
Excellent. How went well?
Hang on.
valuable lesson there for
Next
young
about.
people. Any electrical equipment that you find malfunctioning, a rap with your knuckles as hard as you can. That's the
Somebody
one.
hit it and it worked. Bung someone through, Phil. This is line 4, and this will be Mark. Hello, Mark.
Hi, Danny.
Mark, what do you want to tell us, Mark?
Yeah, it's referring to this morning when Danny Kelly was talking about the commentary game he had on Wednesday.
Mike Ingham and Mark Lawrenson.
Yeah, that's right. Well, actually, during I think it was the second half.
There was more?
Yeah, at one point, Alan Green said to Mark Lawrenson, "Why have you got your hand on my leg?"
It's a second source. We heard this source from within this very office.
Yeah.
And we said, well, we can't go with that because... And now you've come to... And that actually happened.
Yeah, and his excuse was that he was indicating that one of the players who was on the field was injured. It was his knee that was
He's doing it on air now.
You see, the thing we're saying here, in case you're confused, because what happened this morning, well, it all started because, there's no denying this and there's no overtones to this at all. It's just very interesting that Mark Lawrenson has an extremely, what traditionally is associated as being a feminine voice. He speaks very like that.
He does.
He does. If he were a character, I mean, if Jack Duckworth, who recently had a ludicrous regression back to being an old pirate, had suddenly regressed to being Mark Lawrenson, then I'd have thought, yeah, I can see that. That's what happened to Mark, and he's got to snap his fingers and get him out of it. However, you said that not only is it, but now things are starting to turn up in conversation, which actually over-eggs this.
In the first half, he and Mike Ingham, as Arsenal and Liverpool played out their meaningless fixture beneath them, were talking about the possibility of what you would do if you bought a square of the Anfield pitch, which has been dug up and sold off in chunks for charity.
Yes.
And one of them said, perhaps they take them home and admire them on the mantelpiece.
Yeah.
And Lawrenson said, no, I wouldn't do that. I wouldn't be so sad, he said.
Yeah.
He said, perhaps because it's grass, they take it home and smoke it. To which Mike Ingham said, you're obsessed with fags.
You see, and I said, Dan, he didn't say that. He said, no, he did. He rang me at home to tell me that. And give us it again, what he said in the second half.
He said, Alan Green turned to Mark Lawrenson and said, "Why have you got your hand on my leg?" And Mark Lawrenson said he was indicating that one of the players who was injured, it was his knee that was...
Yeah, I just think their secret code is no secret anymore. I don't know. There's something they're trying to get out here. Right, maybe, as you say, they may be blinking, saying torture.
Sure, yeah.
Okay, it's coming up to 6:15.
Unless they're trying to throw us a curveball.
Hey?
They might be trying to throw us a curveball.
It's obviously a game and a joke, but it's just getting a little bit crass, as we said. So very quickly then, the quickest letter you got there.
Radio, the nation's interactive station.
The thing with these strong players is they actually love the physical side of the game, and what they don't like is somebody around them who's banging them about.
Then we've had the insurance salesman who used to go around to an ex-Coventry City player's house, had worked out the training patterns of the Coventry player and decided, I think I could fit in nicely there, and did.
He's got a season ticket out of it.
Yeah.
You've got a season ticket out of it for him, and now we have our friend Robert, who's going to tell us what.
Hiya. 1991 this was at Aston University, the summer ball.
Yeah.
Went along just with a few mates and a few of the girlfriends that I knew.
Yeah.
And this one girl, she had a German pen pal of many years over. It was a nice-looking girl in her sort of late 20s.
Yeah.
Helga, her name was.
Helga. Very significant name if you're over a certain age.
Very last tango, last rumba in Paris. Yeah, go on.
Anyway, things went from one thing to another, and we went back to my place and had a result. And then in the morning, there wasn't any embarrassment. She was fairly mature and cool about it.
Yeah.
And I brought up the newspaper just to have breakfast in bed. And she opened her purse, and there was a photograph of her sitting next to her boyfriend. Her boyfriend being a very famous international German footballer.
Really?
And the thing was that I was so excited that I'd slept with this girl who was dating a footballer.
Yeah.
She suddenly became thoroughly unimpressed with my immature behaviour.
Wow, I can imagine the poor
Were you dancing around the bed in like a red Indian?
Well, I was on the phone to my mate straight away. Not to tell them that I'd slept with this girl, but that she was going out with this international footballer.
Let's give him a nom de plume. Let's call him Jürgen Kugelschreiber.
Yeah, that sounds about right.
Jürgen Kugelschreiber, which is, anyone who speaks German like I do knows, is Jürgen Ballpoint Pen.
Absolutely.
Thank you very much indeed. Jürgen Kugelschreiber. So you were in bed, and possibly a post-coital cigarette was being passed from mouth to mouth, and then she said, and she wasn't German, right?
She was German.
Yeah, so I do apologize. So she goes, oh yeah, I must find the handbag here. Okay. So she opens the Blumenkohl, no, the roast, I thought. Was ist das gemacht? Oh, anyway, he said, what's that? She went, oh, that is my boyfriend, Jürgen Kugelschreiber. And you went, you know Jürgen Kugelschreiber? Whoa! I'm keeping with Jürgen Kugelschreiber. And she thought that was the wrong way forward.
Well, she just thought that they were immature. It's an immature reaction.
Is he? I mean, I'm not going to.
How famous?
Not to give the name out. Was he an international?
He's retiring this summer.
Did he play for Kaiserslautern? That's the only question after my last question on this. Did he play for Kaiserslautern? Who do you play for?
At that time, he was playing in Italy, and then he's had a couple of goes in North London since.
Wow, Lee. Oh, I don't know about that. I really don't think I...
That could be anybody.
That could be anybody. Oh, wow, that's extraordinary. So when I said Jürgen Kugelschreiber, I was a ballpoint pen, of course. Take a break.
There's nothing scandalous in this. It's just that his memories of an evening in 1993, after Rangers and Hearts had drawn 2-2, Duncan Ferguson turned up at his local pub, The Ranch, in somewhere outside Glasgow, blah, 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 blah. He remembers 5 facts about an evening out with Duncan Ferguson. He said, I was with him all evening. Okay. Fact 1. Dunk has a very poor short-term memory. Despite having a simple name, he wasn't able to remember it. That's him, Jason. He spent the entire evening calling me Rangers because I happened to have a bluish-coloured shirt on. Okay. 2. Fact 2.
Rangers.
Even though he is a towering man that can reach from one end of the table to the other, he is simply one of the poorest pool players on this earth. The fact that the cue makes contact with the white even amazes me. If he ever offers you to play for money, which he always does, take the bet. It's the easiest £20 you'll ever make. Right. Fact 3. One of the most awesome and strangely repulsive sights of my life was to watch Duncan Ferguson as he described a certain sexual activity that had happened in the previous evening. Even now, I wish that I could forget. Please, God, let me forget. Yeah, please, God, let me forget.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Then they go to the loo together.
Oh, man.
Okay. Duncan's action while stood at the men's stall is the following. He tends to bend up and down at the knees, using the full length of the porcelain available, with a cry of, way up, way on the downstroke, up on the upstroke. There's a drawing of him doing it. Way up.
Oh, don't show me.
Oh, down the bottom.
It's a very... the man can draw. All right.
Way up. On
way
up. Way up, way on the downstroke, up on the upstroke. There's a drawing of him doing it. Way up.
Oh, don't show me.
Oh, down the bottom.
It's a very... the man can draw. All right.
Way up. On the
way up.
The other way...
you know...
Our friend Jason says the other way around would be simply silly, wouldn't it? And it was at this moment, in between way and up, Duncan admitted, after a few more cold drinks, that he would like to have the Rangers crest tattooed about his manhood.
Wow.
Yes. He said, that is because I am so loyal to Rangers.
Yeah.
I don't know if he ever did. I like to think he did, says Jason.
Well, I don't know. If I was a man who'd been called Rangers all night and suddenly I had someone say that to me, I don't know. Yeah, thanks for giving a hand. He's not only drawn it, he's put a real Duncan, he's cut out Duncan's head from a magazine and put it on it.
So Duncan's no good at pool, can't remember, he just calls you Rangers and got a blue shirt on.
Memory and goes way up, way up. I'd like to do the other stuff in a minute. Next week, you must bear in mind brown-nosing clubs. We definitely want to do that. And we're going to do political footballers next week as well. Right, we're virtually out of time. We're going to do now Trevor Steele. Trevor hasn't been through to us for a few weeks, has he?
He hasn't been. He hasn't been himself, but now he's back. We haven't got it. We played it earlier.
Oh, we had it earlier on. What happened to the music? Do now Trevor Steele. Trevor hasn't been through to us for a few weeks, has he?
He hasn't been. He hasn't been himself, but now he's back. We haven't got it. We played it earlier.
Oh, we had it earlier on. What happened to the music? No. Oh, there's a
poker under it then?
No, I can't play a poker under it, but yeah, go on, that's what Trevor's... It won't work without the music.
After leaving Celtic, Wim Jansen has been scouring Europe, to prove he's no flash in the pan. He decided to go to Ajax in a jiff. The fans said it was a brilliant move.
This is too good.
They were looking forward to some dazzling performances.
Ah, even better. Oh, no, that is good. That's too good for Trevor.
No, it's not.
No, it needed the music behind it.
No, it's tedious.
It needed the music behind it. We're out of time. I'm sorry it ended so ragged, but, you know, it wasn't much of a show, but the only one we had tonight. I've been Fabio, and I've been Groove Rider. That'll do us. Thanks a lot. Line 6, and this will be James. Good evening, James. Thanks for hanging on. You'll be Talk Radio. What do you want to tell us?
Hey, I'd like to enter your fantastic...
My free-to-enter competition... We're so postmodern, we're ashamed. Okay, here we go. Ladies and gentlemen, we're asking you on all the nations represented on this one CD here.
Football Fever.
Football Fever. It is really good.
Yeah.
But which country begins thus? Who's that?
Could that be Jamaica?
It's not Jamaica, and I think, made you think there was some ragga coming up, but there is no ragga. The Jamaican one's terrible.
I was going to say, what is Jamaica?
Well, it's
the most
pretty
musical
terrible.
land on Earth. How's it represented?
It's one of those, it's like a punky reggae party thing. Sorry, what's it called his name again? I forgot. So,
James.
It's James, sorry, James. James, this is Jamaica's, and it's a great double CD, but their one is just too, white-friendly, if you'll forgive the phrase. But you know what I mean, they've gone for the, here we go, this is a Jamaican one. Sounds like talk radio, actually, just...
Question time! What time is it? World Cup time! What time is it? World Cup time! What
See, it sounds like... Awful, yeah, but that's it. That is the worst track on it.
Although, start it up again, I'll tell you what it sounds like. Go on. Start it up again. The very start.
Free to win a competition for it.
Yeah.
Here we go.
Trevor Steele's joke coming up.
Trevor Steele joke coming up. That's exactly what it is.
Black Sabbath.
Did you know? That's where it should start. Did you know? 0500 1053 89, James. I can't give it to you. It's certainly, but there's one team down anyway, Jamaica. But everyone's represented on it. It is damn good. The South Korea one is potty. It's one of those, you know, the South, I mean, you know, they're not known for their pot. But if you're going to put Billy Bragg, I'm sure they've got better things than this going on. This is South Korea. Hang on, here we go. Live as well. They're currently losing 3-1, and this is what's supposed to spur them on to get the equaliser, is it?
That's great. That's
Tom Waits, he says in there. Yes, no, it's Tom Waits, that's who it is. You're
Also,
right.
the first 10 seconds of it, Trevor Steele's joke.
Trevor Steele's joke again. Anyway, but that's not the one we're after. We're after
Full time. I'm afraid that the music has failed to inspire Korea.
Yeah, and Hernandez being helped off, and Mexico have got dreams of winning this World Cup. Okay, so 0500 1053 89. What have you noticed so far? I guess we could beat that. Which is always dangerous to think, but I actually don't think Brazil are going to... of course, Argentina.
We haven't seen them yet.
We haven't seen Argentina.
But we have seen one of the Korean players is called Yu, which is causing a certain amount of trouble to the commentators. That was a great pass by Yu.
Oh, are they doing
and
that?
Then Kevin Keegan has to come on and say...
No, Kevin Keegan would not go... Kevin Keegan has lost all the will to live.
Here we go.
Kevin Keegan's commentary... So even though so Kevin... You know, they were saying... who's alongside him? For Clive Tilsley,
Yeah.
Oh, and that just scraped the bar, Kevin. Yeah, you know, it was wonderful play. It came over from the corner, and you know, the guy's entitled to get a foot to... It was like it was like Hal, the computer in 2001.
And I know...
It wasn't a bad shot. Let's see that again.
No. I know that Steve Kelly, somewhere out in the nation, is jumping up and down saying, read it! Steve Kelly is so good to us. Has faxed us Kevin Keegan's comments throughout the first half of the game. It's actually on television now.
No, is he?
Yes, indeed.
What kick is out of this?
This is what Kevin Keegan has said so far in South Korea versus Mexico, which is on your screens right now, I'm sure, at home. After 3 minutes and 20 seconds, he said, one thing can be certain of today, when you see a Mexican wave, it really will be a Mexican wave.
Oh, that's actually not bad. I don't know.
That's the best he's done. That's the best he's done.
I'll be happy if one of our callers call in the next 2 hours and give us something as good as that.
04:57.
Okay.
Into the game. It's Blanco, and he's got white boots on. And I've just realised I'm colourblind.
Oh, he didn't say that.
Yeah.
But see, his delivery at the moment, I'll hear all of it. He's at the moment, unless, of course, he's been stung by my comments in the newspaper today, which I think he might have been. He says, he's going, it's Blanco, and he's got white boots on. And I just realised I'm colourblind. He just seems so depressed. All right, he may feel a bit of a fraud being Fulham's manager and all out of the World Cup.
And looking forward to some excellent games next season for manager of Fulham.
Of course, but he was a fraud.
1935. That's not the year. This is into the match. They've got red, blue and white boots on. The manager will put on some more colours at half-time.
Oh, wow, that's not a comment at all, is
23-27 on the goalkeeper. He should.
Trevor Steele, they're saying in there.
He should be good at diving. He was born in Acapulco.
That's not bad. That's not bad. No, that's not bad. That's not bad. Come on.
No, you must remember.
Although, I suspect he was up last night with his tongue sticking out the corner of his mouth and a pen. As soon as anyone goes up, I'll bet he's good at... No, these are not ad-libs. Sorry, Keggy.
Yeah. Now, check this out. Because, you know, he was the original source of... now attributed, of course, to Mark Lawrence, but he was the original source of... I'll tell you what, Brian, I love the colour of them shirts.
Yeah.
We've had the colour of the boots. After 32 minutes and 40 seconds of the first half of Mexico versus Korea, he said, although his jersey's pretty plain, his gloves are real colourful. They must be from Sugar Ray Leonard.
No, I don't get that at all, do you?
This is the goalkeeper wearing the white kit.
Yeah, but... Sugar Ray wore normal boxing gloves.
Yeah, as far as I'm aware.
Yeah, okay, that's one he's tried on the hoof there. It's a bit, it's a work in progress, I think. There's a bit he's trying to look into, see what's, anything there. It's not going to happen.
41 minutes and 20 seconds, you're now accelerating is a complete madness. Talking about the noise in the crowd, when you come as far as they have, you're going to shout. It's a long way,
Where is?
Korea or Mexico, presumably.
Right, yeah. You're going to come a long way, you're going to shout.
After 43:30, he tries a dry joke, and I won't try and spoil it. I'll try and do it as best I can with proper comic delivery.
Okay.
Well, we've got 2 goals on the pitch at the moment. That's a new FIFA rule.
Oh, we should have had the music behind that. Is it all keggy in the first half now?
After 45 minutes and 30 seconds, 30 minutes injury time, his final contribution to the entertainment. I hope Steve Kelly is writing down the ones he's doing now. He's going to faxing them into us.
Yeah, of course, yeah.
Yep. There's that overhead kick again. Don't try that at home, kids, unless you have a mat underneath you.
Oh, that is pathetic. So don't try it at home, but, maybe they will try it, but put a mat underneath, because he thinks he'll get a letter saying, you're discouraging kids from doing those continental kicks. All right, we're going to start the phone-in portion of the show in a minute. If you'd be good enough to join us tonight. Who scored it in a minute? Not that you could care less.
Well, I hope it was Hernandez.
No, it was Palace. And, by the way, Barry Davies this afternoon, you don't have to put a in every Spanish word.
Yeah. There was one who came on, and he was just...
It's not Zubizarreta, it's Zubizarreta. Even, Spanish people can say Zubizarreta, but no, Zubizarreta. Unless he's going to pronounce every single in the indigenous dialect, don't just do it to Spain, because you can, Barry.
Well, the fact that the substitute who came on had a lot of C's and Z's in his name as well, didn't he? And he got the full...
He put a D in, he gave he put a D, the D became a as well, didn't he? You have to got his name, I look forward to him doing some of the Cameroon players who've got that they got in their name. Doesn't do it to them, but I'll do it for the Spanish.
There are people who are always vaccines, but always have very observant eye. We've got 2 Kevin Keegans for us here, and 3 other things they've noticed about the World Cup.
Poor old Keg. Keg I like. I think he's suffered enough with his Fulham thing going on.
It starts raining during the Paraguay-Italy game. Yeah. The less awful of them is this one. They produce 300,000 bottles of wine in Bordeaux each year. This won't be a good vintage. All right, there's there's some viticultural truth to that.
Something going on there, yeah.
Yeah. If you're staying in the hotel called the Four Seasons, well, we're getting all 4 seasons here tonight.
I heard that one, yes, I heard that. Yeah, and as you say, Clive Tilsley as well, who went on while the game was going on.
As though he was on the travel show.
They've all got into this thing, what the cricket commentators do, when they muse about other things and make themselves seem slightly eccentric and charming.
8 hours a day.
But when the game's going on, he's saying about, won't be a good crop here in Bordeaux, and my first visit to the area, actually, although I feel over the years that certainly part of my income has gone to fund the good burgers of this area, who do their very best to the tabletops around. The game's shut up, Clive, game's going on.
They point out that you were almost right with your thing about Hal, but it was in fact Kevin Keegan has now become Marvin the paranoid android. Yeah. They've got 3 other observations. All of them are pretty much spot on.
By the way, you saw the first half of this, did you? Is he upbeat today, Kevin? Because in the first game he just, it was a wonderful, wonderful shot. And he was being measured as if he was an elder statesman. Not going to get too excited, I've seen it all. Get too excited, it's the World Cup.
And that's another great goal there.
Yeah, it's a fantastic goal. Fantastic goal.
Although I think just kneeling down on the line is not the accepted goalkeeping in most of the world.
I bet Zubizarreta this afternoon.
Yeah, that's a belter.
That's who we need, Daffy Duck. Daffy Duck commentating on the Spain. Zubizarreta, that's what we need. Kids okay in my book.
I want to say, let's stop this nonsense about the own goals. When the South African, the big lanky South African, got a second on goal, I hope they don't give that to him. Well, he hit it with both feet across the line. What does he have to do? Get down and head it as well?
There is a chasm, and this World Cup is bringing it in the chasm.
Own goal, that's 2 own goals.
So the score at the moment, with 84 minutes gone, is that right? 84 minutes gone?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's Korea 1, Mexico 3, 0500 1053 89. What have you noticed of the World Cup? Good evening, John. Thanks for hanging on. What do you want to tell us, John?
It's a Kevin Keegan comment.
Oh, well. I tried to broaden it out. What is it? What did he say?
Well, the fellow who scored the 3rd goal.
Fernandez.
Yeah.
He'll get his roots done now.
He what?
He'll be able to get his roots done
Oh,
now.
because he's blonde. He's a blonde Mexican. Yeah. He'll be... it's a very exciting goal in the biggest competition on the planet.
10 men Mexico have come back from a goal down to win.
3-1. And how he can get his roots done now? Nobody chuckles. Everyone just... By the way, Neil. Hello, Neil. Where are you, Neil?
Hi, Danny. I'm in Newcastle.
What do you want to tell us?
I've got an intelligent goalkeeper for your intelligent footballers.
Now, this is odd in itself, as you're quite aware of the oxymoron there, intelligent goalkeeper. But who have you got?
Shaka Hislop. He's got a PhD in rocket science.
No, he hasn't. No, he hasn't. He's not a rocket scientist. There is no way.
Just saying he is doesn't change it.
He is. Shaka Hislop, rocket scientist. If that was on Sky Television at 11 o'clock, I'd tune in for it. And now, Shaka Hislop, rocket scientist.
So some very funny stuff and some very mad stuff. That's all right. It's a good combination, isn't
Any
it?
more pies is still there, is he? It was just different. Okay. Now,
how many poems roughly would you say are in the book? Is there a list of contents?
There's the list of contents.
How many poems roughly? 20, 40, 50?
About 15.
Oh, about 15.
Yeah,
Okay.
a lot of them about rugby as well.
Okay, now, run us down what those are called, and we shall choose one.
Oh, crumbs. Back to the front. Wales versus England. Medals in Europe. King John. Wales Rugby 76. A Twist of Fate.
A Twist of Fate, yes.
Yeah.
He's stolen a Dylan line. Let's go. Dylan line. It's A Twist of Fate, ladies and gentlemen, by John Toshak, and who we believe is the only poem-writing footballer in the history of the world. And it's A Twist of Fate, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you very much indeed.
Page 55. Twist of Fate isn't actually a poem.
What is it?
It's just a write-up.
It's a write-up?
Yeah.
Is he padded with write-ups? He puts out a book of poetry and then puts write-ups in there.
Yeah.
Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for joining us all tonight. I'm going to do my poems in a minute and some of me write-up. What is it? Are you sure it's a write-up? Was it by him?
Yeah, about the 74-75 season.
All right, okay. Well,
I've got to pick out one that's not...
Okay.
That's a lot of rubbish, really.
What is it?
He's come back from playing out in Spain. There's a photo of himself and Emlyn Hughes in sombreros.
Yeah.
Naturally.
Yeah. The first couple of lines are, "We're coming into land at Speak. My legs are feeling very weak." He's just returned from Barcelona, and now I'm going for a sauna.
No! Not even cola? Barcelona, so what? No! Tell us that again.
We're coming into land at Speak. My legs are feeling very weak. We've just returned from Barcelona, and now I'm going for a sauna.
This isn't a book of poetry. This is the ramblings of a madman.
Gosh, it's tosh. Is it ironic?
No, I'm Barcelona. Now I'm going for a sauna. But it's preposterous. Does it carry on?
Yeah.
Go on.
The pressman's questions are all the same. Where's your poems for the Derby game? I tell him, poems don't grow on trees, and you ain't forthcoming with the fees.
Oh. But they do grow on trees.
One more day.
You don't find them growing on trees. You find them gathered around the bottom where dogs have left them, by the sound of it. Yeah.
You'll have to give me one more day. They laugh and talk and walk away. That's it.
That's it.
So he's coming to torture artists there as well.
But the Barcelona sauna thing was just discarded. It didn't go any further. Had he done 2 or 3 more of them, I thought, that's clever. He's actually, saying that I can't write poetry. Here's in quotation marks. But I'm going to counter it with a lemonade. 1 second. Look, the sun is setting, the moon is rising, the stars are getting ready to glimmer. I've just had a bath, I've just had a shave, I've rubbed on my favourite scent, I've washed down a pie and chips with a lemonade. That's poetry. Nuclear waste, put it in a square. This is line 4, and it's our first caller of the evening. Ian, thanks for hanging on. Ian, what can we do for you?
Oh, hello.
Hello, Ian.
I don't know whether you remember, but quite a while back you had a gentleman who applied for the manager's job at Tottenham.
Yes, that's right. Yes, I remember during our quite a rich run of people who decided to throw their hats into Premier League club management. Yeah.
Well, when Teleo Lombardo lost his job at Palace, a friend of me and I thought we'd have a go at applying for it.
And?
So we did, and didn't get anything back.
Nothing?
Nope.
How about the washerwoman job that's going at Palace? That's the director of more attainable. Okay, so what's the point?
Well, we carried on applying for other clubs as managers left, and got a few rejection letters back.
Yeah. How did you word your letters? What did you say in them?
Just generally flattered the club as much as possible.
Did you say did you give any kind of bona fides why you should be chosen?
Not really.
Okay.
No.
Okay, go on, yeah. Okay, yeah.
Well, we got fed up after a while and thought we'd go for trying for bigger things.
Mm-hmm.
And in the end, we applied for things like the British Virgin Islands and Bermuda and Seychelles.
Very good.
Ron Atkinson style, yeah, go on.
But again, still got no replies back.
Yeah.
In the end, we were just trawling the internet and found an address for a Maltese second division football club.
Yeah.
Applied for the manager's job. and was offered it.
Oh, this is...
What was the name of the club, please?
You know it?
Pembroke Athleta.
What was it?
Pembroke Athleta.
And how did they word their reply to you?
Well, he actually called me up on the phone. He actually gave me an interview over the phone.
What did they say?
Just basically what your plans for the club were and such.
Oh, anyone can get... Except, you see, you could have got
This is how Roy Hodgson started, isn't it?
This is superb. And did you let them down gently, or did you say you're on your way?
Well, I just
or did you take them over?
I told them that I got off an offer from another club, so couldn't take it up.
Oh, when was
only
this?
you got your suitcase out.
When was this?
A couple of months ago.
Ring him up again.
What would you have done, right, if you thought, you know, if you'd have thought, I'm going to see this through, what would have been your first thing on the first day with the squad? What would you have told them? How would you have played a game? What tactics would you have adopted?
Anything that went.
I think the correct approach here, and anyone who said, give us the name of the club again.
Pembroke Athleta.
Go there, turn up, light a cigar with the £20 notes and declare that each and every player is now on the transfer list. That's the first thing you should do with it, of course. That gets their attention. And then, once you've sold one or two players, trouser the receipts and get on a plane and come back home again. That's it. Quit the club. I mean, at least you left. You say, look, I left. They were £5,000 better off than when I turned the club round at a profit.
And you know that the one supporter of...
Put in an offer for Ronaldo. Get some... The first to say, I'm going to make it up. You know, it's only 400 quid, but we have bid for Ronaldo. 400... You'd get on the front page. You'd be a manager, my son.
And, of course, they speak English in Malta, so the only Pembroke Athleta supporter who happens to be on holiday in this country now is on the phone back to the whole game. Do you hear this? Do you hear this?
Appointed some bloke who, for a joke. This is a superb story, my friend.
Yeah.
Really
Well,
good.
I'm also only 22 years old.
That is neither H nor N.
And they were interested in having the
40.
youngest manager as well.
Did they say this? Actually said it?
The chairman did, yeah.
So you actually spoke directly to the chair. All right, they were a Maltese second division side, but you spoke directly to a chairman who offered you the post as manager.
Yeah, on his personal phone line, yeah.
Oh, well, I admire your willpower in not taking the job. I'd have had to have gone over there, and if I could have survived on the training field for more than 5 minutes without mentioning Maltese crosses, then I would have thought I'm onto something. Say if you'd have won. Say if the first you'd have thought, aye. Would you have played the long ball?
I'd have to have done.
Yeah, play long ball, and
Yeah, well, that's the first way to cover up any lack of intricate tactical
how
knowledge.
bad must the squad be that they don't appoint from within the squad or the club? Some bloke... Where do you live?
In High Wycombe.
Some bloke in High Wycombe rings up and says, "Gives a job." They go, "Oh, mate, you're a manager."
No, they're ambitious. They were looking for overseas management, weren't they? And that's the deal.
Could I ask your surname?
Garfield.
It's your full name, sorry. Your full name is?
Ian Garfield.
So they would have been in the Maltese papers. Ian Garfield, famous British coach, is arriving on the 2:15 tomorrow to take over. Superb story. Thank you very... Now that, if we can build from there, then we've got ourselves a show. We'll be right back. That's it. I mean, you know.
And normally the highlight on Carlton Select is, for those of you who don't get to see it, don't get the right cable channels, there's an amazing programme, I think recorded probably in the mid-80s, perhaps the early 80s, where a gentleman of American persuasion...
Carlton Select?
Yeah. He has a big grey afro puff haircut.
Yeah.
And one of those special...
Like a dandelion.
Yeah, but especially one of those ones that where they cut the afro off above the ears. So
Yeah, I know.
it's literally,
Yeah,
you got a big round head with a big round head.
Like the bloke in War used to have.
And he's yes, like the Oscar out of War. And he specialises in showing you how to do painting. And he talks in a very, very special way. And he said, now, I think we've got a lovely snow scene here. Always a lovely snow scene.
Yeah.
And you can see the huts glistening in the distance. And I think what would be nice now would be a moose here. And he's very quiet. And he
Now,
goes...
the moose can't see the timber wolf. The timber wolf is over here.
Yeah,
And the moose is over
and everything is highlighted by big blobs of white paint to make snow glistening.
And that's who's showing the Arsenal game.
And that's what...
Well, let's have him there then. I'm going to put Tony Adams in here. There he is. There's Tony Adams.
There's his arm up in the air, getting offside.
Outside, and he's being worried by a timber wolf. There it is. There's the timber wolf. So that's being shown on Carlton Select. That's how you're going to see it.
And there's a timber wolf being worried by Lee Dixon. There are much rarer sides.
No, there's the goal being troubled by Arsenal's forward line. There's a much rarer sight. 7:07 is, I don't know why it strikes me as significant.
There's Mark Overmars passing to Anelka. Very unusual.
There it is, and there's the Arsenal supporters, of course, like the running dog bitches they are, saying, we'll support anything the board say. If you didn't hear us this morning, our line on the Man United thing is that, it's the end of British football as we know it. And you didn't care. No, you read all these people. No, I'm not talking, because Vic Hucknall is from around there, and I don't. The 2 or 3 people that actually support Man United who come from the area not talking to you, but all the rest of you, don't tell me about ruining British football. You mugs should have thought of that before you abandon your local clubs, whether it be Bury, whether it be Stockport, whether it be Southend, whether it be Ipswich, whoever it is. When you decided, I don't want my local club, I'm going to go after Man United, that's when British football started unravelling. You've brought us here. It's your fault. It is the supporters' fault. And I hate every single one of you.